I watched Clue this morning.
Oh, they're remaking it.
No, they're not.
They're talking about it. Yeah.
That is blasphemy.
And that Clue stays, and I will talk about what I watched because it'll tie in here in a little bit. But Clue stays is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love it.
I mean, I really Clue and Popeye are those kid movies that I can watch a million times.
I don't get the love for Popeye.
I grew up was my favorite comic strip was Popeye. He was Popeye's from just down south in Illinois, and where the comic strip was made, and Robin Williams, man, he just was so good.
I did not. I loved the cartoon. I did not dig Popeye the movie.
I like it more now than I did when I was a kid.
How are we not recording this?
I'm recording.
Okay.
I can always put it in.
I was going to say, this feels like an actual thing we would talk about.
Hey, we are back. And there may be conversation before I say we are back because we had some good movie conversation just now. Luckily, this thing's rolling all the time.
Yeah.
So,
cut all that shit we were talking about.
That said, right across our cattywampus to my left would be Mr. Bender.
Yep.
Just Bender. And then to my right would be
the Bender.
The Silver Badger.
What's up, party people?
And then there's no woman because my wife has a headache. She's tired of people. She's tired of travel. She just wants to be home.
Let's just get right into it. How was Jamaica, man?
Well, I was going to say, before we get into it, I always ask what's changed for everybody or what's happened over the last week because it feels like we've been gone a while. But I can tell you in my life what's happened. I've had a 9th anniversary since our last episode. I have a teenager since our last episode, and I've been to another country since our last episode. That seems like a lot.
I did manual labor. That's a lot for me.
That is a lot for you. It took the trash out? What happened?
I put up blinds in my house.
Well, there you go.
And my
anything handyman should do or does for people, that's manual labor for you.
Yeah,
do you have a drill?
Yeah. But I had my dad come over and help me.
How many humbles does it take to put up blinds? Two? Yeah, that's
definitely two.
But he let me use his drill. And then
the old man let the son use the drill.
And then
did you play Cats in the Cradle in the background?
No, did not. And then I have 2 stairs going down from my house to my patio, and some of the boards are rotted. So we went to Home Depot, got a board, cut it with a circular saw, and made some new little wedges.
You are a man.
Did
you get a callus?
Well, I was not allowed to use a circular saw because I went to private school.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and it was cool. I did screw the deck screws into the stairs.
So. He looked at that circular saw. He turned and looked in the living room and saw his 2 sons, and he immediately went online to say, how to be a carpenter classes. So when
I was done, I walked in. I said, woman, you make me a sandwich because I'm a murderer.
And she smacked him right upside.
Oh, my God, did she ever.
And then he looked at his sons and be like, yep, I'm not going to teach you anything.
So we will get into Jamaica, but I'll get into that next because I got a few Jamaican notes because it was a fun trip. But there were some spots on it that was like really stuck out, like really great spots. So before we do that, Bender, what have you been up to for the last 10, 13 days?
Lots of stuff. Finished the baby's room. We had family pictures where it's a funny story. We go to
we'll be the judge of that.
Klondike Park. We go to Klondike Park in Defiance.
Where we've been, where everyone goes to get pictures.
Yeah. It's like definitely the white bread.
I've been there twice for pictures.
Oh yeah, so we had pictures last Saturday morning. It's 9:30 in the morning that we have to be there. So Vera's a late sleeper. We get her up, give her some milk, get in the car. I'm like, don't put her clothes on her because she's got milk.
I hate to interrupt, but not only is she a late sleeper, but apparently a big John Denver fan, which is out of left field.
Oh, yeah, she loves that shit. From the Kingsman. She loves Kingsman.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right.
Anyways, so I'm whipping through the back roads.
We're not the best parents in the world.
No. Yes, I let my daughter watch Kingsman.
I was telling someone that recently. They go, man, your kids are well behaved. What's the trick? I go, I don't know. I'm an awful dad. My daughters have been watching Walking Dead since it started.
Yeah. But so we're whipping through the roads, and Vera loves like roller coasters and all that stuff. So I hit 3 dips real hard in a row. It was like boom, boom,
Who were those
boom.
guys? Oh, never mind.
And your stomach drops, and she's like, "Oh, that was awesome." I don't feel good. It just fucking yaks all over the car. So we get her out, get her cleaned up, and Rachel washes her hair, and I'm like, "You think we can still pull this off?" She's like, "Yeah, we can still pull this off." We pulled it off.
On the way to pictures.
Yeah, on the way to pictures. We pulled it off.
Good for you.
I told the photographer, I'm like, "Don't stand next to us. We all smell terrible."
So do you have to get pictures now in the fall, too? Or does this count?
It was maternity / updating the kids. And then when the baby's here, once Harrison gets here, we'll do newborn pictures and I think 1 year pictures.
So you just said the name out loud just so people know your kid's going to be named Harry Bender, which is a good name.
Harry D. Bender.
Harry D. Bender. Hey, so
are we going with Harry or Harrison?
I'll probably call him Harris.
That's not
I like
bad.
that.
So I've got a teenager, a freshly turned 13-year-old girl. You've got a daughter that's into John Denver, and Tommy has a kid that's walking.
Yeah.
Eddie Hummel is walking.
He's mobile.
Life is fucking over.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
That
good
is
year,
terrible.
the good days are gone.
Hey, he walks better than I do after about 7 beers.
Man.
Hey, I know I don't mean this as at all in response to you because they're spaced out. But speaking of kids, I was driving to. I had a house full of teenage girls last night, like 4 of them.
That sounds awful.
Then I had my daughter and her cousin, who's a year older, or my youngest daughter and her cousin, who's a year older than her, and then my wife. So it was 7-1, female to male.
You and Lou just hanging out.
Yeah, but he sucks. He betrays me all the time. But so this morning I had to get up to go get something extra for breakfast, and as I was driving to the grocery store, I saw a woman pushing a carriage of like seeming twins, and then when I got beside, she was pregnant, and I thought that miserable woman. Yeah. I mean I mean these like you're good because Vera's getting to that age where she's getting more self-sufficient, but to have 2 babies that are in diapers and not walking and having another one on the way, I'm like, you just don't know how bad life is going to get.
Yeah, you did that to yourself?
People so badly think that they know how to do it after 1, even 2, but man.
I find myself yelling a lot more with a almost 4-year-old and almost 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Because that's a natural response. You're not a bad person for yelling. You're
on a daily basis, I want to punch my kid.
You'd be a bad person if you kept it in, because then you turn into a serial killer.
Oh God, I'm yelling at one of them at any given point.
Yeah.
So what? So other than the obvious news that you have told us about, what else has been going on in your world?
Not really anything.
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
Just trudging on.
Yeah. My grandpa died, so I guess I'm going.
That's
to Chicago.
the news I was alluding to.
Yeah.
So you've lost in the course of this podcast 2 grandfathers.
Yeah, 2018.
In this year.
This year,
rough
yeah.
Two grandpas in the family dog.
They weren't celebrities, so no one had them in the pool.
Nobody had them in the pool. No,
I felt
my
that
mom's
was an
mom. My mom's
ill-tasting
dead.
joke.
Yeah.
I felt like it was right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
That's true.
He had a good run. Lived till about 91 years old.
That's
That's a good age, yeah.
He had a pretty interesting life. He was a big guy into boats and had
Was he a big guy in boats, or he was a guy that was big into boats?
big into boats? Yes, I set myself up for that one.
91, suffering in the end, or things go pretty good for him?
Kind of went quietly into the good night.
Can't beat that.
There you go.
My grandmother's mother was seemingly no bad health or anything. I remember as a kid, and one night she just fell asleep and didn't wake up, and I thought, that's a win.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you guys
Good.
going to give him the Viking funeral since he was in the boats?
We're not going to give him the Viking funeral,
be
but
cool.
I will have to go through taps again, which is never fun.
Oh,
Right,
that's a hard.
Yeah. It was, obviously like a lot of our grandpas fought in the WW2.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good story. He said, I asked him one time if he ever saw combat. He said the closest he ever got to combat was his job was he was in Europe, and he drove high-ranking officers around from the battlefront and back.
I'll be darned.
And so
My buddy Halpow was a chauffeur driver for generals
nice.
when he was stationed stateside.
Yeah.
DUI fixed that.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't get DUI suck in the real world, but they're magnified in the military.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
So he was driving a general back, and he heard an explosion, and he whipped the car around, and he said it was awesome. Like, in one motion, he whipped the car around, threw his door open, had his Tommy gun out, and was, like, in prime position, ready to go.
Well, that's cool.
Looks behind him.
Whoa. A Tommy gun?
Yeah, he had, what were those called? The 42s? Not the 42 machine guns, but the little 38 submachine guns.
Yeah, but I don't think they had Tommy guns in the military. I
I
don't
think
think
it's
that
a
was
Tommy gun.
standard
It's
issue
like,
military. That was a mafia.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I
know
get what
you're
you're saying. But anyway.
I'm not a gun guy, all right?
I'm not what you
And I'm
call
sure-
a carpenter.
And this
a
guy's
gun
an
guy.
Irish guy, so I'm sure he embellished. Anyway, so he's in prime position. He looks behind. The general's just sitting there in the back seat. He goes, son, you know that explosion came from about 1.5 miles away, right? So he had to slink back into the car.
That is a
and
general.
drive back.
That's a general that had been in the shit.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's good. Well, hey, that does suck. I know you said you hadn't seen him in a long time, but that does suck. So
Yeah.
thoughts
Sorry
are
to
going to
hear
be
that.
with you this week.
Sure.
So in that awesome smooth segue, we will get into my trip to Jamaica a little bit.
Oh, a little bit. You want to talk about it for minutes?
You're not very tan. I got to be honest with you.
Oh man, I'm super tan. This light's not doing me justice.
that what it is?
Plus we used a lot of sunscreen because that sun is murderous
Yes.
down there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tell you overall about the trip. I just brought up a couple of points that I thought were worth talking about. One, we had a great time. Sunscape Cove, Sunscape Cove, and Sunscape Splash. That's the resorts.
And you were in Montego Bay.
We were in Montego Bay. We were in Cove, which is the laid back side, but we spent a lot of time in the Splash side because they had the water park and the more bars and the swim up bar. And, we had a great time in the ocean in the first 3 days.
Did you have cake?
And then but we did that joke a lot. and then the jellyfish came in, and I've seen jellyfish. I've been stung by jellyfish. I've been diving through them, scuba diving. These jellyfish were wider than frisbees. These were
big ones,
big ass jellyfish.
They're gross, man.
And I learned that once it breaks water, grab that sumbitch and take it out of there. So when their heads get above water,
you can't. The top doesn't hurt you.
Nope, the bottom won't hurt you either.
Oh, really?
Once they get part of them hits the just air, you can just scoop them up without being shocked. It's when they're completely underwater when they're dangerous.
Huh. Yeah. Did not know that.
Because I saw 10-year-old boys catching them motherfuckers and flinging them out on the beach. And I'm like, those kids are either tougher than me or they know a trick.
You don't eat them, do you?
No, you get them out of the way so you can swim. They canceled snorkeling that we were going to do and all this because there was too many jellyfish.
Was there a storm? Storms usually bring them in.
Storm came in after, so probably happened way out. But there was a couple of funny things I thought. One, just you can turn that off if you want.
Yeah.
The driving, I don't know if you know this, but the driving in Jamaica is the scariest fucking thing in the world.
Is it on the opposite side?
It's on the opposite side, side of the car, side of the road, but there's stoplights occasionally. The only street signs that I've seen, period, was instead of a yield sign, it was called allow. Okay. And then the signs, the yellow triangular signs that usually warns you of kids at play or something going on.
Sure.
They have those signs everywhere with just an exclamation point on it. I don't know what that means. I looked at the sign and go, "Hey, somebody's excited to be on the road."
Yeah.
There's something interesting coming up.
So we at one point in the night we took this bus tour at nighttime. We went to this place called Glistening Waters and it was the Luminous Lagoon, which is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah,
no, that's cool.
Where the more you move, it lights up.
Bioluminescence.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Jerry, by the way, the only Jerry in Jamaica, he told us. He explained bioluminescence like this. Luminous, for illuminate. Bio means by anything that if moves, it lights up.
Okay.
And I don't think he knew that was not true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a lie.
I think he thinks that was true. Yeah. I don't think he knew that it was biological because he, after it goes, and the reason it does this is this little biological organism called this. And he's repeating what he knows, he's learning.
Yeah.
But I think he thinks that the bio and bioluminous means by anything that disrupts it illuminates, which I thought was great.
Did you correct him?
No, I
didn't. Wanted to, though, right?
No, I didn't. I turned and looked at the woman beside me. I go, I think he believes that, and that's awesome. But while we were there too, this is the first thing I want to talk about. Escovitch fish. Have you ever heard of this? Have you?
No.
Okay, so escovitch. It's escovitch. It's a way in New Orleans, Jamaica, Cuban stuff. A style of frying fish.
Okay.
They had it in a resort, and it was good. It was very good. It was seasoned pretty cool.
Did your wife eat it?
No, God no. Not. So, but we go to the.
Does she not eat fish?
She doesn't eat anything from the water. So if I'm in the water and come out of the water, never going to touch me. So we go to this luminous thing, and they kind of get you. It was but one thing though, they told us it was going to be X amount of person, and then we got there, it was cheaper because the bus got more full. So that was awesome.
That's cool.
But they get you there and they say, tour doesn't start for an hour, so go have some dinner and drinks at the bar. So they just kind of leave you there so I'm like, you know what, I had an early dinner and it was bad, so I'm going to try some food here. So I wanted the jerk chicken because your resort chicken is not jerk chicken.
Yeah.
So I ordered it. He goes, "Oh man, we out of jerk chicken." I'm like, okay, well, what else is on the list? Jerk pork? No jerk at all. No steak either. I'm like, well, fuck around. What
do you have?
I go,
ravioli.
I said,
what?
I go, fried
good
fish.
Butter cake.
I go, fried fish. How's your fried fish? He goes, it's good, but it's escovitch fish. I go, yeah, I had it on a resort. He goes, you know how we make that? I go, maybe. Can you? And he goes, we use onions and everything. And I'm like, okay, now it sounds better.
Yeah.
So we order our food and order some hush puppies. good but different than our hush puppies. And he sets this fucking fish down in my plate, and it is a fully intact fish that has been descaled and fried. You don't, when you explain, it's just like a movie being completely different than the trailer.
Yeah.
Onions have nothing to do with what's wrong with this picture, asshole. This goddamn fish is staring at me, and
Can you take the head and tail, please?
So he gave me 2 of them. He goes, "Oh, portion small, man, so I'll give you second." I go, "Okay, I don't know how to eat the fucking first one."
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I was like, "There's bones in this thing." And my family, who absolutely hates the side of hates seafood, this side almost made Kaylin puke.
Nice.
I gotta tell you, it was tasty.
Yeah.
But it was like eating lobster or crab legs. Crab legs,
work.
too much work for little payoff.
Like, what do you do? Like, you got to peel it off the bones?
Yeah.
Ugh,
But I could not
work.
do that without getting rid of the head. Even me, who has a strong constitution, loves seafood, loves fried food.
I don't like shit looking at me.
I had to take my knife and put it at the spot where its neck would be, and then.
Yeah.
Oh, and man, when I did that, and Missy convinced Kaylin not to look while I ate.
Yeah.
But when I got to that second, and I did that, and I go, she goes. I go, oh, this is bad news.
We had one time we were in Mexico and we ordered some sort of soft-shelled crab, and it was fried. All the pieces were fried, and then they put it back together in like crab form. Okay. And it came out, and Rich goes, "I can't fucking eat this now. It looks like the actual thing it was." So I had to mix it all up.
I looked up what escovitch fish is, and it literally is a secondary frying using all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the description does it say the whole fish.
Yeah.
But every picture says, I'm like, even the interwebs does not explain this the way it should be explained.
Sure.
They just descale it, batter it, throw it in there.
Yeah.
That is it.
That's gross.
It is not. It's not good. I mean, it tasted good, but
Yeah. I mean, I would have ate it.
What was the best thing you ate there?
I had a steak at one of the Italian restaurants on the resort, and it was pretty good. Pretty damn solid.
You didn't get any good jerk stuff?
No, I had it, but it's not real Jamaican jerk. Like, we were going to eat Jamaican jerk at this place called the Pork Pit, which everybody says in Montego Bay, the Pork Pit and Scotchies were the best. But I'll get to that in a second, why we didn't.
Okay.
But a couple other things I thought was funny, though. So here's my thing. If you don't want to be stereotyped, don't be a stereotype. Jamaicans on TV, they nail it. They say, "Mon, respect." On everything.
Yeah.
How you doing? This is my morning. Every day I woke up to go get me a coffee or get ready for breakfast or go get beach towels. See a guy that I've seen every day that works there. "Hey, man. Hey, big man. How you?" "Pretty good, man. How are you?" "Respect." All right.
Yeah.
And by the way, I personally set the over-under at about 40 minutes as to when somebody was going to offer us weed. Mm-hmm. I was way off.
Like 4 minutes?
It was one step out of the airport. We got out of the airport when our shuttle got there, and the guy goes, "Hey, let me help you with your bags, man." And I know, sorry, I apologize for how many Jamaican impressions I'm doing in this. But he goes, "So what are you here for? Party? Food? The ganja?" And I go, "No, I got my kids with me." He goes, "But I can take care of all 3.
Wait, now I want to know how was he going to take care of your kids?
I don't know. That's what I said. What kind of people do
It was
you
child trafficking, wasn't it?
Their view of Americans have to be the most fucked up thing. Because for one, they just assume that everybody's coming there is going to smoke weed. And I was like, I have an 8-year-old with me. What the fuck? I haven't asked her, but I don't think she wanted to smoke weed while we were there.
I mean, it's awfully presumptuous.
Their music is also caught between being spiritual and Jamaican. And if it's American, it's either 15 years old, like Britney Spears, "Hit Me Baby One More Time."
Sweet.
Or Jamaican takes on 15-year-old American music.
Yeah.
It's like, if you guys just had one American here programming your radio station, it would be the most popular thing for tourists.
I liked Bob Marley before I went to Jamaica for my honeymoon. I have not listened to Bob Marley since.
I still like him. I did get my fill. I'm done with him. I also hated how pushy they were. Like, they would say, "Hey, you want to go parasailing today?" "No, I'm good." "Oh, you want to go do something?" "No, we're just going to chill on the beach." "Oh, you don't want to go do it?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, I've told you twice now.
Yeah.
Leave me alone."
That's how Puerto Vallarta was. Everybody on the beach is super pushy.
Well, in the stores, when we were going to do the thing with the pork pit or the Scotchies, which was a little farther away, is when we went to the hip strip, which was the shopping area. Because, by the way, hey, here's my advice for anyone going to Jamaica that wants souvenirs.
The hip strip in St. Louis is Cherokee Street.
Don't buy anything on your resort because it's more expensive.
Yeah.
If you're going to shop, do it at the hip strip if you want to. It's going to be they're going to be very pushy. Everyone's going to give you a free shot, a free beer, but they're going to unfold stuff and say, "Well, I'll just go wrap up. I'll go wrap up for you." And they almost pull you into the store, and that sucks. But it's cheaper. But if you really want the exact same souvenirs at a good price, the airport's way cheaper than all of them.
Yeah,
really.
The airport's the way to go. So, but
you have a very nice shirt on right now. Is that where you got it?
No, I did it at one of those pushy shops, which, by the way, was not owned by a Jamaican. He was an Iranian or something, those our Middle Eastern person.
Sure. They've been having a little issue here in the old St. Louis area.
I haven't heard that.
I'm going to talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah, put a pin in it. I did see, though, a cigar transaction go down, like this dude from Cuba who's taken off clearly had like a small luggage bag with him and was disrobing some clothes. It wasn't a wetsuit, but I thought it'd been funny if it was.
Yeah.
And he had wrapped up boxes of Cuban cigars that he was bringing to the owner to look at and inspect, and got paid him out of the register for the.
That's
I
cool.
didn't see how much it was, but I was like, maybe I should have just one-upped him. Like, if he's going to give you $75 for that box, I'll give you $100 right now.
Did you smoke a cigar while you were down there?
I did not. I just wasn't in the mood.
Sure.
You can get Cubans now, though.
Yeah, you can now.
Yeah, my buddy flies to Cuba once a week.
You can bring back X
you can bring them back.
Yeah.
Can you buy them in like a cigar store?
Not here, no, but
No.
you can bring them back with you.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're
He's
allotted
got
so
Cubans.
many, like you're allotted so much alcohol, things like
You know
that.
what it tastes like? A cigar.
Yeah, they're not
Okay.
great. I mean, I've had them before, or at least I thought 90% of the Cuban cigars up until now used to be fake.
Yeah.
Now that they're legal, you're getting a little more of them be legal, or be the real thing. But, yeah, and then, the only other thing I got of note was we met a lot of people down there, of course. The coolest people we hung out with were from Arkansas, and they were in port on a cruise.
Okay.
And they just spent the day with us. But by far the most notable person I was this black dude, rather heavyset black dude with some... if it was real bling, it was awful. It looked fake bling. But he kept referencing how much he travels for work, like to France and to Africa and blah, blah, blah. And I hope this guy was telling me the truth. I did a little research on the internet. I don't think he was. But he's a DJ, and that's why he travels. And at one point, his wife swam up, and we were talking music, and she goes, he always talks music wherever he goes. So he swam off. So I thought, well, there's some validity. Maybe he is a real DJ. So I finally said, so who do you DJ for? And he goes, Wu-Tang. I was like, and my wife goes, you love Wu-Tang? I go, I do, but I know DJ Symphony was their DJ for years. So maybe they got a traveling DJ. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's the warm-up DJ or extra DJ. Problem is, he goes, yeah, we're supposed to be in the Bowery in New York tomorrow, but or Thursday, but I'm not going to make it back in time. They just got to understand. So when I got back to the room, I looked up their tour dates. They weren't going to be in the Bowery.
What did he say his name was?
I don't remember. It's Skills or Skilla or something. I don't know. I was drunk, but
Sure.
I'm fairly certain he's not the Wu-Tang Clan's DJ.
Yeah.
Almost
Good
positive.
story, though.
Yeah, and I was excited about it at first. I really wanted to believe him because I love and he really started getting into hip hop, and he hates modern hip hop.
Yeah.
He goes, "There's a few guys I like. I like Gambino. I like Kendrick Lamar." He goes, I'm not into these Migos and Drakes and all these guys. They just sound the exact
Dude,
same.
I could pull that shit off, and I'm white. I could be
Yeah,
like, oh, dude,
yeah,
I like
yeah.
Childish Gambino. And,
Yeah. But I was like,
At least I've heard of
but
them.
the way he said Wu-Tang Clan, and he just kind of glazed over it, and I was like, wait a minute, you talking about you talked about the RZA, the Jizza, ODB, God rest his soul,
Yeah.
and all that, and he's like, yeah, man, yeah, can I have one of those, Bender?
Yeah, I'll take something.
Which one you want?
Surprise me.
I'll go High But overall, it was a good trip.
Good family bonding. Everybody came out closer. Did you have a dad-daughter moment where you're like, oh, God, tears out my eye.
Oh, fuck
They're
no.
getting so old.
No, I mean, they were, you can see, I would have a couple moments where I saw them playing on the beach and stuff, and how long and tall they're getting, and they're growing up.
Yeah.
High that beer in
Back in the
the Cigar City beer that's in the case.
Oh, gotcha.
The one that's spelled Jolly.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just helping him out.
I thought you said High Life. I'm like, what the fuck is a High Life then?
No, High Lie. So, would I recommend this resort? Yeah, I would. It's a pretty fun resort. I mean, it's a resort in Jamaica. Good value, good fun for family. So it had all you wanted, where there was scuba, motorsports things. But yeah.
So I guess the
six pack,
question is,
5.
would you go back to Jamaica?
Probably, but I would rather go as a couple only and go to Negril instead of...
that's where Kelly and I went for our honeymoon, and we had a very good time.
Yeah, and there were things we would do different. One day we went to the Hard Rock Cafe, the resort next, to eat because the cheeseburgers and stuff weren't very American. They were very fast foody and cheap fast foody. So I thought, well, one day for lunch we'll go get my girl some chicken strips, some good big hamburger.
Yeah,
that was $150 just thrown down the drain, just thrown down the fucking drain like it was nothing. So yeah, that's it. But anyway, that was Jamaica, and that's all I had with Jamaica. So it was a good time. I recommend it if you're ever going to do it. But that said, let's jump right into some topics. I literally brought just a couple of things to hit on and throw it to Missy segment. But so I'm going to let you lead the way, Mr. Bendare.
Oh, I just thought the only thing I really brought was all the guys getting in trouble for pedophilia and the fake outrage that is going around on the internet. James
wait a minute. James
Gunn got fired.
That's a big one. We should talk about that. Yeah.
So James Gunn got fired for
his
Guardians
jokes.
of the Galaxy 3 for some jokes from like 2011.
Look at that pour.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Look at that pour.
Nice. I wish I could be that cool.
It's not going over. Yeah. You could just take a knife and cut that right off the top.
Yeah. So Disney basically fed the trolls, and it's been all over the place lately, and it's driving it. I just don't understand it.
I'm on both sides of this one because. Yes, Disney caved fast to the social outrage, the social justice warriors.
But it's not real outrage. It's fake outrage.
Well, I got to think that some people probably were pretty outraged.
People are definitely
But the reason that it even came up and was dug into was this fucking Michael Cernovich guy, who was the guy who did Pizzagate.
Oh, yeah. People that are out there just trying to do this.
The people who thought that... What?
The pedophilia ring and the Clintons were doing it. He's the guy who started that rumor.
It's just someone that's looking to cause controversy and
He
stuff.
basically said that anybody who is liberal or anti-Trump and is famous, he's going to take down on the internet. So he deep dives into everybody's Twitter feeds.
I get that.
And finds old jokes. He did it or takes them out of context. He did it to Patton Oswalt this week. He did it to Dan Harmon this week. He did it to James Gunn.
So basically, this guy's a fucking loser.
Well, here's the problem with that, though. He went after a couple guys like Patton Oswalt and Dan Harmon those guys are equipped to deal with this. For one, Patton Oswalt, that's not a guy you get into a war of words with.
Patton Oswalt, the one he did to Patton Oswalt had created a tweet that was if you were a pedophile type of thing, like fake outrage for people who something, and they took it, used it out of context, tried to get him in trouble. Dan Harmon did put together a bad skit that was basically I forget the name of it, but it was Dexter, but for like child molesters. It was real weird, and he goes, I did it once, it didn't work, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, can we not joke about child molestation? Because I think one of the best skits in SNL in the last 5 years was the one where The Rock was creating the robot.
We talked about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. But
maybe it's not funny if your kids got diddled.
Here's my thing with the James Gunn thing, though. And so, first off, let's address the deep dive into Twitter. That's their fault. If you put shit like that on Twitter, like that picture at the All-Star game. And his stuff, I don't know that he necessarily deserved to get as much shit as he did, but he definitely said those things.
He did. For me, I didn't care about the things. It was weird to me when he pitched, his next time pitching in Milwaukee, they gave him a standing ovation.
Yeah, he did nothing.
That was weird.
That's it. He did nothing. He didn't deserve a standing ovation. He probably didn't deserve the shit he got.
Yeah.
What he deserved was to be held accountable, to say he's sorry, and to move on.
Absolutely.
I will say this about James Gunn. I didn't think he needed to get fired.
No, because Disney knew about those tweets.
But I'll say, but I'll say this. Any job that you will have in America probably would fire if they found out they had a recording or had a publishing of you saying that stuff. His jokes, although they were jokes.
But see, I don't think it should be that way.
They weren't.
Yeah, I don't think it should be that way either.
They weren't funny at all.
No, they were tasteless and stupid.
And a couple of them did go really far. And it wasn't like it was one or two.
No, it was like 10 or 11.
Yeah, that's a...
But like, so
I think you learn after one or two doesn't hit, you stop. He didn't double, triple. He quadrupled down. And I said...
Go back, I was looking at this. So then the same guy went after Michael Ian Black for things. He went after Trevor Noah because Trevor Noah had a tweet about fat chicks from 2013.
I find that is different. Fat chicks from 2013. Now, I'm not
This was and this same tweet showed up when he took over the Daily Show from Jon Stewart. Everybody's like, does he deserve this job? He made a tasteless joke on Twitter about fat girls. I'm like, okay.
Well, we've talked about this before on the show. Like, edgy comedy has gone away because everybody's too afraid to make a controversial joke. That's what comedy is.
Yeah. Well, I like edgy comedy, and I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. I do think that there's this unwritten rules of baseball kind of thing. When I read them, some of them were fun. Some of them I thought they were so over the top they were funny, but some of the Gunn ones were very, very, very dumb and bad.
It was dumb and it was bad. Anthony, another Anthony Jeselnik outed himself. He's like, "Oh, you don't have to dig too far to find my pedophilia jokes."
See, but
and he put like 20 of them.
Yeah,
out
but that's
there.
a guy too that that's his shtick, and I'm not saying that makes it okay.
James Gunn's shtick before he was the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. His lower brow indie movies were kind of
they weren't that bad.
They weren't that bad, but he was trying to be this guy that was like shock and awe type.
Yeah,
dude or
but
whatever.
Jeselnik's also a stand-up comic who's had a long career of doing it. Gunn is a director, and we almost don't need to hear the voices of our directors per se. I'll just say this. I don't believe he should have got fired.
Yeah.
I do believe that what he did was stupid and they weren't good.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that getting a slap on the wrist, okay, but getting fired, I mean, it's almost like you forget that he just made you $600-800 million.
Yeah, Disney's probably betting that whoever directs Guardian 3 can make money. It's not James Gunn. It's the franchise. It's Chris Pratt that makes the money, not him.
He was tasked with doing Marvel's expanded universe in space. Like his job was gonna go on
he was gonna be JJ or
Joss Whedon,
Joss Whedon in space.
Yeah. So and it was. This is the second time, really. Like we can argue about it again, but Disney also fired whatever the head of Star Wars is, that woman, based on trolls on the internet, and then they fired James Gunn.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So then they fired James Gunn, and it's all the thing that bothers me. It'd be different if like it just popped up again or whatever. But this guy, this Michael Cernovich guy, literally that's his whole life. He takes people down, and he's one of these like alpha male things. He doesn't believe rape exists. He just thinks that's
he's one of the, he's stronger women. What was that? What we've talked about it? The Proud Boy or whatever.
He's one of those guys. He doesn't believe rape exists. He started the Pizzagate thing that almost got somebody fucking killed.
Gavin McGinnis.
Yeah,
he's one of those kind of
douchebags.
guys.
This guy made all of it. He's some lawyer out of California, but he made all his money by divorcing his wife, and he got like a 7-figure settlement from his wife.
And I'm not getting into it. I'm not diving into it. I still don't agree with you that the trolls are what brought that woman down at Star Wars.
That was a lot of whining, but no,
I just think that they don't think that she was doing the job she should have.
And that's fine.
Solo didn't make money. The end. That's all it is.
Yeah, and because of the director change, and I think that's on her.
Yeah, which that's fine. That's a different story. All of these comedians and stuff, like, why would we listen to these idiots? Oh, this guy also did Gamergate. He started Gamergate too.
Oh yeah, he's an asshole. Gamergate.
Like, why are we letting this fucking shit?
What was Gamergate?
We're not going to talk about it. We can talk about it off the air for the fear that we get famous enough that someone
he's going to take us down now.
You don't talk. First rule of Gamergate: don't bring Gamergate up.
But it just why listen to this guy? Like you're feeding the trolls when you fire people for things like this. And there's been articles all over this week, and I've been kind of reading a bunch of them, and it's been swinging back and forth on both sides.
Corporations haven't figured out yet that social media is.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
No.
Things happen so suddenly now in these news cycles that we forget what happens a week or two.
And the other thing that like you learn from this is like if you apologize, you get in way more trouble than if you just say nope, didn't do it. Like Dan Harmon didn't apologize. He just deleted Twitter, said I'll come back when this is done.
He's done that a couple times. He leaves Twitter randomly, and 99% of the time he leaves Twitter, it's because he goes on a drunken rampage of tweets, and then he's like, I got to take Twitter away from myself for a little while.
Yeah, so he just deleted Twitter, let it die down. He said, I'm sorry, that was a tasteless thing. I'll let it die down. And Adult Swim left him. They said, we're not feeding the trolls.
No one is Teflon, but I can tell you this. Like I said earlier, you don't go after Patton Oswalt because he's smarter than you and he's funnier than you, and that's a dangerous combination in a war of the words. Yeah. And don't go after Dan Harmon because there's no one that hates Dan Harmon more than he hates himself.
Yeah.
And he's also smarter than you.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys like with that whole thing with the girl. He had a very good episode where he talked about it. The girl who even listened to it said, I'm not over it. but I do accept his apology, and I do understand where he's coming from.
He owned it. Yeah. He owned it.
It's not that he just owns it. He owns it. It's almost like he says, I did this. I fucked up. But just so you guys know, I'm a career fuck-up who makes millions off of doing stuff that's stupid. Yeah. This is what you get. If you don't like it, move on.
Right. There's no... First off, I guess the lesson in this is don't write dumb shit on Twitter.
That's the key. The thing with the baseball guy, and I'll go back to the pitcher. Did you know what we're talking about with the pitcher?
He said some racist shit or something.
And it was very bad.
Back in high school.
Was he quoting rap lyrics?
No, he was just being stupid.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it was his excuse was, hey, I was 15, I was dumb. My thing with that is a dumb 15-year-old. That's not a dumb 15-year-old.
That's just a jerk.
That's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You were a piece of shit at 15. Now, if you're not, okay, but you do have to go out and acknowledge the fact that you were, in fact, a piece of. It wasn't a stupid mistake. Yeah. You were a stupid person. Yeah. Period.
That's like that one guy, which was dumb, but it was just being a dumb kid. The football player who lost, he was supposed to go first round, but then he dropped down to 10 because he filmed himself hitting a bong hit from a gas mask.
Dumb.
Oh yeah.
What'd you hear?
He lost millions of dollars, and I'm like, that's a dumb thing. But
wasn't it the NBA this past week? Some dude in the NBA just got popped with cocaine in his system or something. He was supposed to be a top 10 or 15 pick or something. I can't remember what it is. Or maybe one of the two, something big. You're dumb. You're a stupid person.
That is dumb. But I think that's still getting away from the point that comedy is comedy. If it's out of context, what are the guys that did Young Frankenstein and blanking on Mel Brooks.
Yeah,
Mel Brooks said that Blazing Saddles. You couldn't make Blazing Saddles now.
Well, see, I do agree with you 65%. What I will say this is, what I don't believe on that is James Franco and Seth Rogen are out there making movies that probably people say, well, I don't know if you should be making those. And we're going to talk about James Franco here in a little while. I think, for instance, the problem with the Gunn thing is it's not out of context. It's out of the norm for the person. Jeselnik has a history of doing this stuff. That would be if Ellen DeGeneres
are so old though that you don't know if that was out of the norm. Maybe that was his wheelhouse back then.
I could be, but he wasn't famous for it, and he wasn't famous then. And this isn't me defending the trolls or defending the firing. This is just me saying I think perception's a big thing.
But that's what this guy's specializes in, this Michael Simmons guy.
He sucks.
Altering perceptions.
I don't understand why people don't fight it more, because
I don't either. I really don't.
Nobody in our country is more powerful than our president, who consistently is Teflon to this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Right.
So why would
and people get in trouble for saying ignorant shit except for him. Everybody's like, you're in the highest office in the land, you're supposed to be the one who sets an example.
Because nobody cares. That's the problem.
Yeah. I saw a meme.
But companies haven't figured that out yet. They think that 2,000 people complaining on social media represents 50% of the masses. Right. And it's just not true.
I saw a meme today about the president, by the way, that said, at this point, the only way his supporters will dump him is if he turns black and changes his name to Barack.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
So, I'm with you. Like I said, I agree with you that Gunn did not deserve to be fired. I don't agree that Gunn is... I don't think the excuse of, hey, I was young and dumb works all the time.
No, I don't think it does either. I just think that... I think it's sad that we're at this point now where fake outrage that isn't even true on shock humor is getting all these people fired.
Well, speaking of being outraged, what'd you bring today, Tom?
So, let's talk about outrage again. So... recently here in St.
Would you
Louis,
say this episode's outrageous?
Yeah. Outrageously outraged?
Yeah, 90s outrageous.
So you're probably gone when this happened.
I guess, because I don't know what you're bringing up.
So on the north side at a gas station here on Kings Highway, there was a woman who was videotaped being kicked by a black woman who was being kicked by a couple of Middle Eastern guys who I guess owned the gas station. So there were protests at the gas station.
I didn't see this at all.
Yeah, so they apologized. Those guys got arrested for kicking her. And I'm not talking had her down on the ground kicking her, but kind of trying to do sweet chin music to her, I guess she had problems.
Trying to be a couple of guys that think they're martial artists. Yeah, I get you.
She was panhandling and she had some drug issues. Doesn't excuse the kicks.
No.
Well, whatever. That's fine. They got arrested, charged with 4th degree assault.
Which is not the worst.
Yeah. So this happened, I believe, on Thursday. Well, the activist community in St. Louis decided
to go after Middle Eastern people. Oh my God.
So they were going on Friday night from gas station to gas station in the north side and parts of the central corridor, if they were owned by Middle Eastern people, they were protesting it. I got a huge problem with that.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah,
okay,
totally
I
agree.
got two things on it. One, I used to work off of Highway 111 and Pontoon Beach Road in Pontoon Beach.
Yeah, that place sucks.
And there is a gas station. I'll just let you figure out which one it is, but it's on my way to work, and it was owned by Middle Eastern people. And one day I was out there pumping gas, and I'm going to stereotype Middle Easterns a little bit here.
Yeah.
So I was out there pumping gas, and there was this dude going person to person asking for $5 for his own gas tank.
Yeah.
And so the Middle Eastern guy came out and goes, "Hey, motherfucker, you get the fuck out of here. I told you, I beat your ass." And the guy's like, "Oh," and he's like, "No, you get the fuck." And he's like hitting his car and like, "I'll fucking kill you." And I was like, I even told my wife, I go, "Okay, the dude was annoying and you got to get rid of those guys because what they're doing is, one, it's illegal, and two, it's uncomfortable for women."
And
But
three,
you-
like, you probably went there. I'm like, I'm not going to this gas station.
But
That's
no,
my
what
shit.
the guy panhandling there? That's
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
exactly.
No,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah,
if
but
I'm
you
going
don't wanna
somewhere
go
and I'm
there.
getting
But the
panhandled, I don't wanna
guy,
go there again.
but the guy made it worse.
Yeah.
You did not endear me to your gas station.
Yeah.
If you'd have came out and said, "Dude, I'm calling the cops on you," you could even dropped one. Get the fuck out of here now.
Yeah.
But by your yelling, screaming, hitting,
Yeah.
you made yourself the bad guy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You just
Yeah.
Unhinged.
you went after the Joker with Dr. Doom. It's
Yeah.
not right.
Yeah.
You're both bad guys here. So yeah, but I would never think to blame every Middle Eastern gas station.
No.
I would blame that gas station
No.
and that owner, and he's a bad person.
You're defeating your own purpose there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just if you want to protest, that's fine. Then her treatment was wrong, but to blame everyone else is literally the same problem that
Well, that's a
basically
big
every
problem we have
minority
right
has.
now. That's a big
feel
problem we
like
have.
70% of the time now, our activist community is protesting things that may or may not need to be protested.
Oh, I told you.
I may or not.
I've said it.
I don't know.
I've-
I don't agree with that.
I've talked, like I said, in the past few months especially, I've kind of talked myself into becoming a libertarian, and I hate it. I definitely middle of the road because the extreme left is every bit as bad as the extreme right. They
Absolutely.
are both. They're the problem, and I know I'm
I don't
preaching
think
the
that
choir.
makes you a libertarian, though.
No, but some of the politics that are, because we're being an all or nothing political system now with our two parties, and that's killing me. That's killing me.
That still doesn't make you a libertarian.
No, but I also think that I'm not a true Democrat anymore.
No, and that's fine.
I'm also not a true conservative, and I just think that the Libertarian Party doesn't have a good representative.
We talked about this before.
Just start looking into socialism. Just be a socialist.
No, I've always leaned towards socialism because I think
so then you're not a libertarian.
yeah, you're right. I don't believe in closed government and all that. Our closed borders.
You
We
still
need
like
more
roads,
options,
right?
damn it.
Yeah.
You still like roads, right?
Hey, let's talk
Yeah.
about some fun stuff.
All right.
I
Well,
just thought that was interesting.
what else
And
do you have?
So, the trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody was released this week.
It got some shit.
That's the second trailer, right?
The second
Second
one.
trailer, yes.
And it got some shit. And the first trailer got some shit.
First trailer got a lot of shit because they once again, Bender,
Them.
your liberal friends,
Your liberal friends. Is that where we're at
didn't
now?
think that they were showing enough Freddie Mercury
Being
banging
gay.
guys.
Yeah. The gay
really?
the gay activist said that you're sweeping under the rug.
I guess the question
everything
is,
that was famous about him.
is this
And-
movie about
It's
Freddie
a fucking
Mercury?
trailer. You didn't
No.
see.
Yes.
Or is it about Queen?
Yes, both to both.
Yeah, so
You're not doing
it's
Queen
definitely
without
part
Freddie
of this,
Mercury.
Yeah, and Freddie Mercury's.
In the top,
I've been digging more in the last 2 weeks into Freddie Mercury and Queen. I feel like Queen is somewhat underrated in a way.
Freddie Mercury is easily one of the top 5 frontmen in the history
Absolutely,
of rock.
yeah.
absolutely. His voice is
It's him,
velvet.
and Jimmy
Didn't he have,
Robert
like-
Plant. It's God. I mean,
No, he's spectacular.
Yeah.
Maybe Steven Tyler could be up there. So maybe
Axl Rose,
know.
probably.
Maybe. I think there's guys. Well, I mean,
What's the guy from AC/DC who can't sing anymore because he basically
Well,
broke his
Brian
voice?
Johnson.
There was two of them.
but and
though,
before it was
so.
Brian Johnson, it was
DLR is probably up there.
David Lee Roth.
Shit, Jagger. It's probably
Jagger.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
and Mick
It's
Jagger,
probably
too.
Mick Jagger, Freddie Mercury,
Robert Plant.
Robert Plant.
Daltrey.
Yeah, that's probably,
probably
the
your Mount
list.
Rushmore.
Yeah, that's it.
So
What about
anyway,
Janis Joplin?
She was a solo act. These are frontmen. That's
I
the
know.
thing. Yeah.
so real quick, because I'm excited to see this movie. I was never a huge Queen fan, but like I'm really interested in seeing this movie.
They're massive.
Putting you all on the spot here. Mm-hmm. If you had the money to make a biopic on one person, who would you make it on?
Well, I mean, I can only come from a selfish point here. I would make a biopic over one or all three of the Beastie Boys. I want to see before. I mean, you could do it around him because he died. What's it called? Go to Bender. I'm gonna come up with a good name for it.
What's the guy from Lord of the Rings?
Peter Jackson.
And he was also in Star Wars. The old guy. I forget his name.
The old guy from Lord of the Rings. That was. You
Lord
mean
Saruman?
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. Yeah. That guy.
Who was also Dracula.
Yeah, he was also Dracula.
Yeah.
Mostly because he had a really interesting career, and I read when he died, I read a whole biopic on him that he also hunted Nazis for real.
Nice. Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, it was like just a cool life.
You ever get a wild hair to go back and listen to an old episode of Nerdist or ID10T, whatever they're called?
Yeah.
And we're going to get into him in a little bit. There's a good one where I don't know if it's the Ian McKellen episode or the Patrick Stewart episode, but one of the two.
I listen to Patrick Stewart.
So those guys were buddies. Christopher Lee, Ian McKellen, all those guys. And they were, I think it's the Ian McKellen one. It's very funny how he talks about stealing jobs from his buddies and stuff. But.
So, like, I read a whole thing on him, and he when Peter Jackson when he dies in Two Towers, he dies in Two Towers.
Yeah. They trap him. Well, he never dies on camera.
No, he gets stabbed. In the extended version, he gets stabbed in the back by the Weasley guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Peter Jackson explaining that to him, like what it's going to sound like, and he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person here who's ever heard anybody be stabbed and knows what it sounds like when someone's stabbed to death. And they were like, good point.
Back to the Beastie Boys thing. I don't know. I think one of their best solo, like they had an In Sounds from Way Out. Yeah. I think that'd be a good title.
In Sounds? Okay.
In Sounds from Way Out.
What was your title for Christopher Lee?
They also had an album called Same Old Bullshit, which is a good title for a movie, I think. But
I'm going to go with Nazi Hunting Jedi Wizard.
I like it.
Pretty solid. Says a lot.
Yeah. By the way, mine would be Jim Henson Pulling the Strings.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one too.
That's probably the perfect title, and a guy that it's weird that he hasn't had a movie made about him.
Yeah.
And by the way, a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, a genius. So that's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
No,
and I'm on board. My birthday's when that movie comes out. My birthday, November 6th.
And my other thing, same thing. If we're going back to the outrage thing, because I guess that's the theme of this episode. Yeah, you're mad about that, but you haven't seen the movie. You haven't seen anything about this. And my original reason I wanted to bring up the topic that I brought up is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar put out a pretty good article about like this outrage factor and everybody. There's some new movie.
I forget that there's a person named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that's not a football player or a basketball player.
I assumed it was the basketball player.
Yeah, it wasn't the basketball player?
Was it him?
I'm pretty sure it's him.
Oh, I thought it was...
Kareem's been an activist.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was definitely Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You tell your old man to drag Walton's ass up and down the court.
Yeah, that's the best.
But he put out that article, and it basically was like, we need to take a step back and put things into context. He even made an argument that, basically Roseanne shouldn't have been necessarily canned right away for what she said there. Like, let's put things into context. And I think there's some new show coming out on Netflix that 150,000 people have already said that they should cancel Netflix or they're getting rid of Netflix because it's fat shaming. Based on the trailer. You know nothing about the show.
Yeah,
you only saw the fucking trailer.
Who was it? Who's in that?
I don't know. I've never even heard of the show.
Yeah, but it's someone big as the female actress.
I think the whole point of the show is that she was a larger... I think the point in the show is she's a larger girl. She loses weight, becomes really hot, comes back and like...
she's a real great big fat person?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She comes back and takes care, punishes all the people who made fun of her, and they're like, "Well, you're fat shaming because she had to become beautiful to get her confidence or whatever." And like, you don't know that, and you guys, you go out there and you protest these shows and everything, and like the actors aren't the only people working on these shows though.
Yeah.
It's like the lighting guy and all that. You're trying to get people fired, and then they just don't care.
Well,
it's fake outrage.
So Linda Holmes.
What's the name of the show? I don't remember it.
Speaking of that, Linda Holmes, Insatiable.
Yeah, that's it.
She came out and she's already seen the upfronts from it, and she says Netflix is really counting on the fact that everyone's reservations about Insatiable will be eased once they actually see it. I am embargoed from commenting on the show how likely I think that is, and so... But she goes on to say that I've seen some of it. It's not a bad show. So watch the show.
Yeah, watch it
don't
first.
hate.
If you don't like it, after you watch it, fine.
Recently, we talked about a trailer that people were boycotting because of the message of the show, and it was all based on the trailer. Or no, we were reading a review of a movie.
Yeah.
And the critic even said that they had only seen the trailer. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
But
about.
it wasn't too long ago. But,
was it the Ghostbusters movie?
I don't remember.
But I get it if they do the Freddie Mercury biopic and they all of a sudden make him heterosexual.
Well, he was.
Oh, that's definitely wrong.
He tried to be. He tried to be.
Yeah,
and he wasn't. Speaking of, I'm going to throw it to Missy. I'm going to get into, I guess we could do it now. I watched a whole bunch of movies.
I got some other stuff
this week, and we'll get to it. Yeah, we'll get to all of it. One movie I watched was Battle of the Sexes. Not a bad movie. It's about the Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
That thing was a little, like, when I remember hearing about this as a kid, I thought it was, like, really epic. Like, oh, my God. Like,
it was.
But, like, it would be the equivalent today if Serena Williams played...
That's not true. 95 million people watched that.
No, I get that, but it's not about that. It's like the talent level. I thought I didn't know that
Bobby Riggs was 55 and retired.
Yeah, and just washed up. It would be like the equivalent today of if
But
Serena...
he's called her out, though, right?
Yeah, he did. But what made it more important is that he beat Margaret Court, who was her biggest rival at the time, who was also the number world rank and is arguably the greatest tennis player of all time.
Oh.
He beat her 6-1, 6-2.
Okay.
And she was unprepared. She was not ready. Well, so there's two schools of thought on this. Billie Jean King abused it, or took advantage of him being 55 and made him run.
Yeah.
That's how she beat him. She wore him out.
I don't know if that's abuse. I think that's just smart tactics.
Abused his defaults. I mean, and then the other school of thought is was a bad gambler, and a lot of people think that he bet on her and threw the match.
Yeah.
But ESPN 30 for 30 brought that out. His estate and his family, it says that's absolutely not true. She came out and beat him, and the first thing he said to her, and they do it on camera in the movie, is that I underestimated you.
Yeah.
And by the way, Billie Jean King's probably the fourth greatest female tennis player of all time, and in the top 10 of the greatest tennis players of all time. But the fact is, Chrissy Everett, Martina Navratilova, and Margaret Court were all better than her, and they all beat her head to head. But she still won 12 Grand Slams, so she's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The movie, by the way, Emma Stone's very, very good in it.
Yeah.
Steve Carell's in it too, right?
Steve Carell's unbelievable in
He's a good actor.
Steve Carell's, you guys talked about it not too long ago.
The new Tom Hanks, eventually.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But he's pretty old.
Yeah, but Tom Hanks is too. But but it's taking him a while.
I was getting to see Firefox.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. He's creepy. So I watched that. The Foxcatcher, Team Foxcatcher, where he's the DuPont. He sponsors the wrestling team only.
Oh yeah,
and
he kills. It's
got Channing Tatum,
and he's obsessed with one of the kids or something.
There was no sexual relationship. If you actually read the real story, they didn't need to.
They play it up in the trailer.
Yeah, they didn't need to romanticize the story more than they did. It was a very weird story to begin with.
Yeah.
So I watched that movie. I watched Jumanji.
Oh, I saw that. It was good.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm okay with a sequel.
I hated the first one.
Speaking back to what we talked about with Disney and all that stuff, and this isn't Star Wars, but
you rewatched Star Wars?
No, but
I loved it.
I watched. You know how they fired Edgar Wright from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched Baby Driver again. Yeah. That movie's unbelievable.
I'll take one.
That movie is unbelievably good.
I thought it was okay.
No, you watch it another time. That movie is.
Okay, I'll watch it twice. But because I posted this earlier that there was an argument on the internet this week that Hot Fuzz is the greatest movie ever.
I know. I want to get into that and throw it to Missy thing. We can do it. We can do it right now if you want.
You're all over the board
Hot
today.
Fuzz.
Look at that. What's going on here?
I didn't know. I mean, that's arguing over which Kevin Smith movie is my favorite. Hot Fuzz is very, very good. Is it better than Shaun of the Dead?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
It is. I loved Shaun of the Dead out of the gate. I watched Hot Fuzz. You watched Hot Fuzz 2 times?
I've seen it probably 10.
Yeah, but the second time you watch it solidifies the fact that it is technically better than Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I think Hot Fuzz is a lot like, to me, is a lot like Club Dread from Broken Lizard. People hated it when they first watched it.
I never watched it twice.
And if you go back and watch it again, it's funny movie.
I thought Anchorman was a stupid fucking movie the first time I watched it.
Anchorman was one of the funniest movies
Then
ever
I watched it again and I'm like, oh. This is funny.
So yeah, I liked that piece you put. But the last movie I wanted to talk about, the last 2 movies that made the impact on me the most this year.
Oh boy!
On the plane, I finally
I like
watched.
how you saw all of us have trouble with that beer, and then you still poured it all over the electrical stuff.
And then it was so the two movies I watched this week that made the most impact on me, and I think they might be two of my favorite movies I saw this year. Was one, The Disaster Artist.
Okay.
Oh, you watched that?
Dude, that movie is amazing. And the fact, and I went, and so I had time. Obviously, I was traveling, so I read about Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
And I'd done this once before, but I reread it after watching the movie. That movie may be the greatest movie at getting it right of any movie ever made.
Yeah.
And during the credits, they showed you the side-by-side scenes that they shot and he shot.
Yeah.
There was some pain. Look.
I wish I had
Franco deserves Best Director for that movie.
Yeah.
It's painful how close he went.
Yeah.
That Tommy dude is a millionaire. He put $5 million into that movie. He had an apartment downtown L.A., downtown San Francisco. No one knows why, where the money came from, where he's from, how old he is. And when you watch real clips of the dude compared to the movie, James Franco is creepy good at it.
Yeah.
The guy's weird.
And Dave,
real weird.
And Dave,
I wish I had his confidence. Like, he's just so confident.
Yeah, that's the major theme of the movie.
Yeah.
And Dave Franco, by the way, is a very good actor.
I think he is, too.
Very good actor. So that movie's worth watching, but I'm going to tell you this. Maybe my favorite movie of the year. I can't believe I'm saying this. Love, Simon.
The fuck is that? I never even heard of it.
It's based on a book called Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. It's a very teenagey movie.
About.
But it's
that's a gay movie, right?
It's the kid that so it's a high school where they have this public posting board. Okay. Some kid comes out and anonymously posts that life is like he goes, my life has been like a roller or a Ferris wheel. Some moments I'm really high, some moments I'm really low. No one knows how I feel because I'm gay and I don't know how to express it. So the main character, who is also feeling that.
Is it on Netflix?
No, I don't know. Not
It'd probably be easier if life was like a highway for him and some guys could ride him all night long.
See, you got to watch the movie. Those jokes don't land when you watch it.
That's tasteless.
So he responds, and so the whole movie's about him coming out and the difficulty. And you think going into it, I know this movie. I've seen this movie. They're going to browbeat me with all the decisions and how hard it is to tell his family. But none of that. His friends don't blow him off because he's gay. They blow him off because he lied to him about some other stuff. His dad, played by Josh Duhamel, and what's the woman that recently left Ben Affleck? Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
They're the most accepting. In fact, the entire school is the most accepting. This movie, what I liked about it most, it was funny. It was very uplifting, and it's probably the kind of movie that you hope kids are watching and getting behind now because it's a very much come together movie right out of the gate, and they don't make any bones about it instead of the divisive movie. And Kaylin read the book, and she said she laughed at the book more than the movie. So that's a very well done.
Is it better than Mean Girls?
You know what? It's as good as a movie as I've seen.
Well, then I'm interested.
It's just good. There's nothing.
Mean Girls your favorite movie?
Mean Girls is a pretty
high school movie, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a damn good high school movie. It's just a weird bar to have.
There is
for a high school movie.
You just out of a movie like this, you expect a certain amount of teen angst. You expect you expect all the tropes.
Is there a teenage dirtbag in it?
No, but you don't get any of that. You just get a movie about a kid that decided that he's going to tell his parents and his friends that he's gay. He tells his first quote-unquote best friend, not his best friend, but a girl that he's known for a little while. Yeah. And even at one point, his best friend goes, if you're so, if this has been killing you so long, how come you told her first? And he goes, well, to be honest, I knew her least, and it was the less scary person to tell.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's just good. I mean, they do a great job. I recommend, that's an easy 6 out of 6 on the 6-pack
nice.
scale.
Wow.
Anyway, we'll check it out.
High bar.
Anyway, that's what I have.
So, so it ends happy?
Oh, man. It ends. You remember the movie Never Been Kissed with what's her face?
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore.
Movie's not that great.
How she shows up at the end on the field
and
waits for the guy to show up. It's not bad.
It's not good.
That's a good performance by her brother.
Plus, the teacher was definitely going to bang a student.
David Arquette. Yeah.
He was definitely going to bang a student.
He could sense she was old enough.
Yeah, that's still a weird message.
She had a
weird message.
Hey, we've talked about this before on the show. Pretty Little Liars, which my wife liked. How everybody was just okay with one of the kids banging the teacher. It's like, oh yeah, it's totally fine.
Boston Public was a show where they were okay with it too.
To be honest, we had a high school teacher who the rumor was that he banged a senior girl every year after they graduated.
Oh,
and he turned out to be be banging girls before they graduate.
Oh, well.
Hey, now. Well, McClure.
Got in a little trouble. Got in a little trouble.
McClure, right?
Yeah.
It'd be a bit more scandalous if it happened to the Smet Judge. No
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I watched I Killed Giants. We talked about this.
Yep, we did talk about it. Great. Good comic book.
Did you watch it?
No, but good comic book, and I've heard good things about the movie.
The movie was very good for a very low-budget movie.
My neighbor, Barry, who's a teacher, an 8th grade teacher, he went and saw that movie 8th Grade, which is getting unbelievable reviews.
Bo Burnham's movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was really late.
He came. I saw him when he came back. I was getting back from softball. He was getting back from the movie. He said, "He goes, I just went and saw that very bad movie, 8th Grade." I said,
"You didn't like it?"
I said, "You didn't like it?" He goes, "It was awful." And I go, so we talked a little more, and we were going on about it. And he goes, "That was the problem with that movie, man. It just it was what 8th graders go through." And I go, "Oh, so it wasn't badly made?" He goes, "Oh no, it's a great movie."
Yeah.
He goes, "But I see it every day, and they captured it 100%, and my heart hurts for what 8th graders have to go through."
Yeah.
And that's what that movie is. The problems that 8th graders today, and he goes, and trust me, he goes, you're a little younger than me. He goes, it's not the same. And he goes, every day I see the kids in my school that are smart, are awkward, are all types, are jocks, and I think, you're literally going through the worst year of your entire life. And
I didn't think 8th grade was that bad.
it's not the same for us now. Social media is different.
Yeah, social media is probably a problem.
And he said that movie.
Interesting.
And I said, what about high school? He goes, high school kids have it made. He goes, 7th and 6th grade, you're still young. He goes, I'm telling you, I've coached.
But wait, with 8th grade though, don't you have hope of high school? Like when I was in 8th grade, I was not necessarily happy, but I was like, there's hope. It's coming. It's coming. I'm getting fucking out of here.
Yeah, I don't know, but
grade.
he just for every teacher I've talked to says that's the worst year to teach. And he said this movie captures why. And he goes, they do an amazing job. It deserves its accolades. But if you're a teacher, it's painful.
Yeah.
I've heard 6th grade is the worst grade to teach.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, because kids are in between, like growing up and still being.
Because the closer they are to little kids, they're cute and they're fun and they're nice and sweet. So then they're also idiots.
But you loved I Killed Giants.
I thought it was very good, and I didn't know that I hadn't read the comic book yet. I wanted to, but then I threw the movie on, and the wife's pregnant and emotionally unstable, and the whole movie is about a girl basically coming up with.
She uses role-playing games to cope with
the fact
her
that her
situation.
mom is sick,
Yeah.
and that doesn't come out until like the last.
The comic
20
books is the same
minutes
way.
of the
You
movie.
don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that was a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be."
Well, the book's real rough.
Rachel's crying. I'm like, "Sorry, I thought this was going to be a little more lighthearted, like monster flick. My bad."
Oh, back to what we talked about a few weeks ago about what movies we cry about and stuff.
Yeah.
And I brought up the situation and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't express what makes me cry more than sad doesn't make me cry as much anymore as happy moments. Like this movie, Love, Simon. Like the kid is at the happiest. Like watching Rudy
you choke up.
Like
Rudy,
awesome. Rudy makes me choke up because it's the level. Like I watched a clip today of when what's the kid's
Still
name?
never watched Rudy.
What's the kid's or the dude Hudson that just got called up for the Cardinals? Dakota Hudson. They got him on
first player in Major League history named Dakota.
Yeah, and they got
Dakota
on camera.
Fanning never made it.
Down in Springfield.
Should be the last.
They got on camera down in Springfield the moment he was told he was being pulled from a game.
Yeah.
And his manager came out and it said, "I need the ball," and he gave him a Major League Baseball, and he goes, "What?" And he goes, "You're gonna need this tomorrow," and he knew what it was, and so everybody hugged him, and everybody going. I'm like, that kind of stuff is what makes me tear up now.
Yeah.
You get a little frog in your throat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. You got anything else?
I got a lot.
All right, well let's get
quick hits.
Yeah, because we're running. We've ran long every episode.
So
let's go.
we talked earlier about the biopic thing.
Yep.
And so when I forgot to mention one part, I wrote down my Mount Rushmore of people I wanted to see biopics.
Okay, let's hear it.
I can't remember the whole list,
Oh,
but
okay.
one of them was Marvin.
Wait, you said you wrote it down.
Yeah, I don't have it with me.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's lazy.
Write it down and leave it at home.
But one of them was Marvin Gaye.
Show prep.
I think Marvin Gaye would be a great
got
one.
killed by his
That would
son.
be a good one.
Got killed by his father.
Our father, got killed.
Apparently
shot in the back.
I did not know this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Shot in the back. Yep.
Shot by his father.
No shit.
Yep.
Huh.
Anyway,
And
apparently,
an icon. Marvin Gaye was an icon.
So apparently, starring Jesse Martin, from Law and Order, Detective Green.
Oh, okay.
Who was in Rent and stuff.
Dun, dun, dun.
There is like 75% of a movie done called Sexual Healing.
Oh, man.
And it's got Donald Gleason, who is also... Is that his name, right? The guy who was Mad-Eyed Moody?
Yes.
He plays like his manager, and it's like the last 3 months of his life before he got killed. And apparently it's in developmental hell because of two reasons. One, they couldn't get the Motown music.
Oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
And two, that Marvin Gaye's family was pissed because it only showed like his last 3 or 4 months of his life where he was like addicted to cocaine. But like it's triumphant because Marvin Gaye was very successful in the late 60s, early 70s, and then had a decade of crap.
Yeah.
And then came out with the album with Sexual Healing on it, which is a fantastic album and a great song. And unfortunately...
So why does Dad shoot him?
So his dad was unfortunately, a theme, it seems to be like in African-American Motown families, was a prick.
Yeah.
And very religious, and him and Marvin never had a good relationship. He was living with Marvin Gaye, and Marvin Gaye's mom was living with him too, and I guess he was very abusive.
Yeah.
And he was abusing his mom one day, and Marvin Gaye
stepped in,
and then his dad came back a couple hours later and shot him.
Yeah. Shot him walking away is the story I've heard. He was walking away from him, shot him in the back. Yeah.
Well, he's a coward.
Pretty crazy story. Hey, speaking of something, talking about who brought this up earlier? Somebody brought up something. Anyway, cool stories of Frank Miller. Did you see this? I put it out. Officially got the rights back to Sin City.
Oh, really?
So we may see the Sin City TV series that he tried to make. Oh, Developmental Hell. You talked about.
Yeah.
Any Sin City stuff, which people have been clamoring for a while.
I think it would work well as a TV series.
I think so too, and he got it back. He officially owns the rights to all Sin City stuff again. So we may see that stuff in the future. Cool. So that was kind of cool.
All right, so quick hits. Today announced Stranger Things Season 3 delayed, will not be out till summer of 2019.
Really?
Yeah. A little bit of a bummer.
Why is that?
I didn't read. I didn't click it because there wasn't time.
Yeah, just quickly, handcrafted show, excuses, but a little bit of a bummer. Rotten Tomatoes has done a little report on Tom Cruise. Apparently, movies where Tom Cruise does a lot of running and action are better rated than movies where he's doing dramatic acting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a whole like supercut of Tom Cruise running through movies.
Oh, because he runs like a girl.
And he runs in like almost every movie.
Well, and he also does his own stunts, so that's pretty crazy.
I read a little quick thing on this Mission Impossible, which did really well this weekend.
Yes, the highest grossing one ever.
Which is amazing, because there's get rid of I enjoyed the first one. The second one was awful, but from Philip Seymour Hoffman on, have all been solid movies.
Oh, yeah, they have. The one where he's in Dubai was just okay.
I liked it.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't as good as like the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour was such a good bad guy. So,
but this one, a lot was riding on it because he got hurt and it like doubled
his leg,
production
right?
or whatever.
Hurt himself bad.
Because he does his own stunts, right?
Yeah.
And if you see the stunt where he did it, woof, even Joe Rogan goes,
Yeah.
You got to let somebody else
do that. What was
the
one? I think it's the Philip Seymour Hoffman one where he was like hanging out of the car shooting or whatever at 60 miles an hour, and they were like, "You can't do this." He's like, "No, I'm going to do it."
Yeah, he did. He really did. Him and Cameron Diaz both did all the motorcycle stunts in their movie, Night and Day.
That movie sucks.
It was a bad movie. It was like Mission Impossible without calling him Ethan Hawke. Gone.
She retired.
Yeah.
She retired?
Yeah, she retired.
Got tired of the shit, man.
She have kids?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I know she got in trouble for wearing like a.
She had a Two-Face
shirt.
There was a Two-Face career for her. One at the beginning, like the
like
mask.
The
like the mask days.
That was her first movie, right?
She was like the hottest woman in the world, and then later I was like, not as hot. Like there's two sides to her.
Still hot. Still hot.
Yeah, still trying to. And my last thing that I have to go look up again real quick. Apparently, Carrie Fisher will be in episode 9.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Billy D. Williams.
No,
Mr. Colt 45.
They didn't say Harrison Ford though. I guess he's done.
Yeah,
there's no flashbacks.
That was Harrison Ford was the bully there. He didn't want to be in it, so he said, "Kill me."
Yeah. You were out of town and we didn't really get to talk about Comic-Con, but did you follow up?
I watched a handful of things. I'm not caught up on what the trailers and stuff. I watched a few trailers. I watched the Shazam trailer. I enjoyed it.
Did we talk about that on air? I can't remember.
We talked about the pictures. But we didn't see the trailer yet. I watched the trailer.
I thought this trailer looked so much
very fun. Aquaman trailer doesn't look bad.
Too much CG.
Yeah, here's my problem with Aquaman in both Justice League and that.
Who's Aquaman's nemesis?
Black Manta, which is in the movie.
And he looks cool.
He does
looks like
look
the real comic.
Yeah, they did. They didn't change his look. Here's my problem. he's flying. I know he's underwater, but he's flying. They don't even make him kick his legs. I have a problem with that. I don't like it.
What are Aquaman's powers?
Serious question, though. Michael Phelps in this? He's got to be, right? Like, he's got to do, like, some sort of cameo?
Yeah.
And Ryan, what's the other swimmer? Ryan
Lochte had some issues. I think he's...
he's not going to be on it. Anyway, what were you about to... What
are Aquaman's powers?
He talks to fish.
Okay. That on the surface is his powers. That's what makes him laughing.
He's got a cool hook arm.
Yeah. But because of his body physiology from living in the depths of the ocean, he's super strong, super durable. He's not Wonder Woman, Superman, but he definitely could beat Batman's ass.
And he can control water.
He could, like, pick up a car and throw it at people. You know, not far. Not like Superman could throw it into the next state. He could probably throw a car about 30 feet.
But he can't fly.
No, he can't fly, and what I had a problem in the Justice League movie and stuff, I don't have a problem with him swimming faster than fathomable by human, power, but he doesn't even kick his legs. He just zooms around like he's flying in the water. Like, I want to see...
Like, fish don't do that.
Right. Make him... That's stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah, so, it is dumb. Maybe he just looks really dumb when he flops.
Yeah, I don't know. But the Shazam movie does look fun.
Yeah, it does look fun. I want to see a scene in the new Aquaman where he, like, forgets that he can breathe out of the water, or he's like, like flops around like a real fish.
Wait, he can't breathe out of the water?
No, he can, but, like, it'd be funny if, like, they had, like, a little scene where
his powers will fade after a while was one of his limitations out of the water.
Yeah,
he needs water. Like Namor, they both had the same thing. If they've been out of the water for like a week.
But Namor can fly because he's got little wings on his feet.
Yeah, he's got little wings on his feet.
Yeah, like some sort of Greek god. Which god is that? I forget.
Ares.
Yeah, Ares.
But no,
Mercury.
No, Mercury. That's it. Mercury.
Yeah.
And it's not flying. It's running.
The Greek one is Hermes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought Aquaman looked okay.
Is there going to be like any other cameo? Like,
I'm sure.
Michael Phelps. It's got to be in it.
But isn't Ben Affleck done as Batman?
There's a rumor, and there's also a rumor that Zack Snyder always wanted Christian Bale to come back, and he was not happy with the Ben Affleck casting.
Yeah, but I don't think Christian Bale would do Zack Snyder's style of movie.
Yeah, he did. He did 3 of them. Or no, he did Christopher Nolan's. Style. Yeah, he did Christopher Nolan's. But
Christopher Nolan's were more Christian Bale style movies.
I mean, arguably the greatest comic book movie, except for that one. Except for that one. Possibly the worst. Okay. Yeah, the worst Tom soundbite on this in the world.
Yeah. I think. So the other thing I thought was really cool, the George R. I wanted to hate it, but then I watched the trailer and I'm all in on it. George R. Martin's Night Flyers.
Till he comes on here and debates us on why he can't write a good book or release a book on time, I'm not going to get behind.
But did you watch it though?
I have not yet.
Oh, dude, it's like this weird, creepy space thing. Do you remember like Event Horizon style?
Oh, I loved Event Horizon.
Yeah,
I argue that Event Horizon's an underrated sci-fi horror.
Oh, it's a good movie.
It's Hellraiser in space.
Yeah, but it feels like that, and it's like I'm all in on it, and I didn't want to be. It just really made me mad that after I watched the trailer, I was like, "Fuck, I want to watch this."
Yeah.
And they're doing, for the comic book style, they're doing Deadly Class.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
It looks pretty good.
I have two quick hits. One, I don't know. You saw Nikolai Volkov died today.
I did.
Who's that? I don't know if you just got the update. Nikolai Volkov, Russian bad guy.
To sing the Russian national anthem.
Yeah, Russian bad guy in the '80s wrestling.
That was his shtick.
And by the way, Brian Lawler just died a little bit ago. I just got the update. Who's Jerry Lawler's son? 46 years old. Yeah, he had drug problem.
Yeah.
But
that was a storyline at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, big time.
There was a 18-year-old snowboarder who killed herself this week.
Oh, that sucks too.
She was like Great Britain's #1. I think she got bronze in the Winter Olympics, and she was really liked her.
Hey, did you guys see that bronze figure skater that got beat up or got stabbed to death outside his car?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was a crazy story. Yeah, he was leaving a nightclub, and 2 guys were stealing stuff off his car, and he tried to stop them, and they stabbed him and left him for dead, and he ended up dying 2 days later.
Oddly enough, it was with ice skates.
Yeah. No, that's not true. He bought out. Hey, last thing I've got before, and if you guys got anything to wrap up on, that's great. But there's a new sign, and I'm going to take a picture of it on Veterans Memorial Drive between Salt Lick, and what's the next road over? 79.
Now you're telling people where you live.
79. It's a Goose Island sign, and I'm going to take a picture because I'm going to put it up on our Facebook, our Instagram. It says the 314 knows to 312.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with that sign. It's in the 636, assholes. It's the wrong fucking place for it. That's a badly.
I didn't really think about that.
That
but
is
yeah,
a
you're
badly
right. I saw it.
marketed sign. That's awful. So I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to put that on our Instagram this week. So.
I watched Rogue One for the 12th time.
It's the best movie.
Probably.
The best
I fucking
movie.
love it.
It's a great
and I
movie.
decided after watching it last night that Jim Parsons needs to be the next robot in the next Star Wars movie.
Oh, that's a good idea.
He has to be a
idea.
fucking robot.
I'm three and a half times I've seen that movie, and because I fell asleep watching it one night,
I think
it's
I've watched it
sadder
12 times.
every time.
So, like, what's your go-to movie where you're like, I just want to kill time? I'm going to throw something on?
There's so many.
But, like, it's always Rogue One for me now.
See, I can do Tombstone. I can do Hoosiers. I can do Pulp Fiction. I mean, I can do Shawshank Redemption. There's so many.
All right, fine. Let's narrow it to what's on Netflix right now, and you just want to.
I don't know
throw
what's on
something the
Netflix.
back.
I don't even watch movies on Netflix anymore.
I always watch TV shows, but like, I think the movie for me. So you're basically asking like the movie that when if you see it on, you're like, fuck, I guess I'm in.
Yeah.
Like Saving Private Ryan, I always watch.
Rudy, I always
the
watch.
two for me right off the bat are Caddyshack
I can do that. I'm on that.
and A Few Good Men.
Oh, I love
I got to
Few Good
get
Men.
to that last scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Makes
whole,
sense.
and even without the last scene, the movie's good. The galactically stupid. I mean, that's a great fucking Tom Cruise can act for a short dude.
Yeah.
He's your height.
He might
be smaller than him.
No, I think. How tall are you?
I'm 5'7" on a good day.
We gotta look him
He's
up.
like 5'6", 5'7".
Oh,
Yeah, we're
okay.
probably the same size.
All right. Well, what else? You got
Thomas
anything?
Madhopper the fourth.
You got anything to close on before we wrap up?
Hey, you know those St. Louis Cardinals had their own little red wedding yesterday by getting rid of a bunch, or Friday I guess it was.
They did.
Getting rid of a bunch of people in the bullpen.
Designated for assignment.
Yeah.
Made some trades. They've made some. I don't know that they're still haven't decided whether buyers or sellers this year, but they've made some smart moves to show you that they're actually going to build a team.
Who's the manager now?
Schilt.
Yep.
That sounds like a guy.
He apparently has the inside track to take the
it's
job
not female.
permanently.
You probably would have heard of it if it was a female.
But apparently McGuire is in talks for the job.
Really?
Also,
I
He is
disagree.
a
candidate.
It's going to be.
Everyone in the know
I have a
says
real
it's Schultz
problem.
to lose.
It's going to be three people. It's either going to be Schultz, Joe Girardi, or Stubby Clapp. Those
I
are your
think
three
you're
people.
right. I think you're
Like
right.
I was gonna say, like, does McGuire have the chops to do the job?
So
Is
the
there any
Cardinals brought him
history of
back
it?
how many years ago now?
Yeah, he was a
5?
he was a hitting coach,
And now
That's
he's
fine.
now he's
Yeah,
the
and he's still
assistant
been the hitting
manager and
coach.
the bench coach in L.A.
Okay. Yeah,
Someone's
yeah.
going to give him a shot.
So he has exponentially more experience than Matheny did.
Yep.
Matheny had never coached at any level.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have a real problem with like let's bring like a fan favorite back.
Oh, I'm with you
and-
there. That's
like,
what they did with Matheny.
stupid.
But at least McGuire has a resume. Matheny
Yeah,
had
that's
none.
true.
All
I'll
right.
give you that. But I mean, like, let's get the best
I
guy for
think
the
Mike
job.
Matheny's resume was the same as yours, basically. Coaching
yeah.
Little League.
If I were to
softball.
go all in, I would put all my money on Schilt. But Girardi
For
is
the
a
coach?
sexy name, but I would put all my money on Schilt to get the job, especially if he goes like if he plays like 600 ball on the way out.
Well, that's high,
I'm gonna ask:
high cotton there.
are these all old
Yeah.
white guys?
Yes.
Yep. figured.
Schultz is 49?
Yeah, not super old. And Girardi's not
Girardi's
super old. 50,
55?
maybe.
But Girardi coached the Yankees for 7 years.
And Girardi's also the guy that came out as a player and announced that Darryl Kyle had died, and so Cardinals fans kind of, even though he was a Cub,
I hate
loved
that
him.
shit though. Like that nostalgia crap. I don't.
Well, but
that's
he's
baseball,
got,
though.
like, experience.
He coached the Yankees to the
For
World
like
Series.
7 or 8
so,
years,
yeah.
so.
Which that's fine. That I want a real resume.
Yeah, and Stubby Clapp has been basically, he's Mike Stilt, but
And to be honest with
progressing
you, I also don't care. I've watched
Yeah.
no baseball at all.
Oh,
this year.
well,
They're
I think
playing
it's
good.
starting to be, it's starting to be a little bit of an issue, though. People
They're
not
playing
saying.
good. The problem I have with them playing like they're playing now is they're playing just good enough to think that there is we should keep the team the way it is. But I still think that you got to shit or get off the pot. You got to go after a big name, and you got to get some trade some minor leaguers, or you've got to get rid of your bigger names and build your minor league.
Yep.
One of the two.
What was it? Carpenter had what the other day? He had like 5 for 5, 3 home runs or something.
He
like
had
that?
statistically the greatest day a Cardinal has ever had.
or like any baseball player.
He was the first person in the history of baseball to have 5 extra base hits in 6 innings.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Good
it.
for him, man.
That's when baseball can never cease to amaze you. the stuff that happens in baseball.
That's why I love following Jason Stark. You always find that one random fact.
Well, like you said, Dakota, the first Dakota to ever play Major League Baseball.
On the Twitters.
Yeah, that's kind
I
of
gotta
crazy.
be honest, I hate that name.
I get it.
I totally get it.
It's a girl's name.
Hey, Premier League in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You got your Arsenal?
Oh, did you see?
Did you pick a team?
You know,
Leeds.
we'll talk
Well,
about
they're
that.
not going to be in the Premier League.
I know,
Let's talk about that.
in Premier League,
That's
I'm
gonna be
rooting.
your team.
Well, in the Premier League, I'm rooting for Lukaku.
Yeah.
So again, Man U, I guess that's my team. I know. I mean, you guys both
You were
groaned.
like every
It's
other.
gonna be fun. It's gonna
But
be
see,
fun.
the fact that you guys groaned makes it more
That's
my
fun.
team. So
Yeah,
we can argue.
It's just such an easy team. It's like saying you like
We'll
the
have another
Yankees.
episode before.
Did you see the 17-year-old phenom from the United States that's been in the MLS just got signed by the Munich team? What's their what's
Bayern?
Byron.
Yeah, just got signed by them.
No.
And I just think that story, what's his name? Alexander?
I don't know.
Anyway, he's a stud, 17-year-old American kid.
Okay.
And he goes out and scores 3 goals after he gets signed for his MLS team.
Nice.
And I think that's what's wrong with American soccer. We can't keep him.
You know, we talked about this on the Brian Ray episode. I actually watched a little bit of the St. Louis FC game on KPLR last night. It was
Right.
a 9:30 game, and they scored an extra time goal to win 2-1 against Reno, 1864, and I did a little yay.
Yeah, go. All right.
Still need to get out there.
2 things. Number 1, if Kroenke becomes the 100% owner of Arsenal, I don't know if I can support him
Yeah,
anymore.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Because he's going to drive him into the fucking ground. Because I think the other owner, Kroenke only owns 30% right now.
I think it was more
I
than
believe. Or he's not the majority owner. But
he might have the most shares, but I don't think he has enough. He doesn't have 51%.
he has enough to like get like the sway or whatever.
Correct.
Oh, here you go.
Whoever
Alfonso Davies. Sorry. Alfonso Davies
Okay.
scores 2 goals just day after signing his Bayern contract. And it sucks.
Yeah. But I think one of the owners is giving up 30%. Like he's selling his 30% on the team, and Kroenke's trying to buy it, and like Arsenal fans are trying to fight it and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. If he owns 100, like most of the team, I don't know. I'll have to
You
move
want to come
on.
walk? You want to come walk with me?
No, I'm not. I don't like Liverpool.
Don't know why you don't like fun, fast-paced soccer with Jurgen Klopp.
I
Holy
like
shit.
Chelsea a little bit. I don't know. I'll probably be a Leicester fan.
I don't, that's probably who I would lean towards because they had a good, but I feel like I'm rooting for the Royals if I'm rooting for them. You know what I mean?
They're
So-
always a fun team to watch. They
If you're-
never win, but they're fun.
If you're an American, you can only root for 7 teams. You can root for the 2 Manchester, City United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham.
Chelsea's just so boring.
I also
okay. I like Tottenham.
feel like for me, rooting for Lukaku is like rooting for the Anaheim Angels because they have Trout. I don't like the Angels, but Trout's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And
Well, Man U's. They were second last year. They were really
yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I do know that Man U are the Yankees in terms of value and
Kind of.
mass appeal. I mean, I know that. I mean, they're
Well,
the
the sad part about now.
They're now the third
With the
by the
good
way-
teams, it's like almost your American allegiances. So if Man U is owned by the Glazer family who
Yeah.
own the Bucks.
Yep.
Arsenal, we were talking about Kroenke.
Yeah.
Liverpool is basically owned by Fenway Group, which is the Red Sox.
So the Japanese are buying all our Hollywood studios up, and the Americans are buying up all the English soccer teams.
See, I
Hey,
think
we got to make America great again.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
It just came out.
staying on that the thing with American soccer though, I think we should do what the French did. I read a whole article on Vox about how France has produced the most amount of like premier players anywhere, and they weren't that great in the 80s or whatever, and they put together like a elite school for soccer, and they brought in basically all of their
But we will never do that because we're pay to play. That's our problem.
Pay to play, not just soccer, but baseball and softball.
Everything.
I'm sure.
But the thing is, with baseball and stuff, we have a lot of families that's our sport.
Yeah.
So
I
it's different,
disagree.
you know?
I bet you by the time our kids are parents, I think that MLS will be a lot bigger.
I don't think ratings will ever. You
I
have
disagree.
no ability to. I mean, that's baseball, football. Well, football, baseball.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of
But
money
here-
in it. There's a
but-
lot. I'm in the.
But here's why.
world.
Here's why, Bender. Because Jeremiah, for example, your son, who's a really good soccer player,
Don't say my kids' names on there. I'm
Sorry.
just kidding.
J-Man.
J-Man. Every time I talk to him about soccer, he wants to talk about Barcelona. Because he can easily watch Barcelona or play them on FIFA.
Yeah.
Like, it's so... Americans want to watch...
They want
the
winners.
best.
And it's so easy
But if
now
we
to
put
watch
together, if we put together an elite school where people come up and they are American, it'd be different.
they're gonna go make money in Europe.
We have
and
never.
that's fine. And that's fine.
Yeah,
There's and this is. I'm going to.
It will help the USMT, but it won't help.
I'm going to get slightly political here. There's only one sport we have in this country where it's not pay to play, and we give out scholarships. And the reason we do it is because it's the inner city youth who happen to be the best at it, and that's basketball. Every other sport, you have to pay to play.
Yeah.
We're never going to change it the way it is. And one of the
soccer's a pretty low barrier to get in if you just want to play.
Yeah, to play, but parents like me go out and have our team on a kid on a team, and she's good. And she's getting routed, so I put her in a club.
Yep.
And I pay for
That's
it.
That's the thing, yeah. Club
and
is
back
expensive.
to where you talk about the money in it, and I think there's a lot of money to be had in soccer, but the fact that Bryce Harper is probably going to sign a $400 million contract to be the highest paid athlete ever,
yeah,
there's still money in baseball. And,
I'm not saying that. It's just that I think there's room.
Well, let's wrap this up. Now we're rambling about sports. I can tell you none of our fans want to hear about that. So I think that's all we got, right?
I think so.
So I think let's take it away.
Hey, Joel Edmondson. Glad you're going to be back next year. Let's go Blue!
Mrs. Peacock was a man. I watch that movie. I love it so much.
I want to go home and sleep with my wife.